Hello everyone, welcome to a brand new edition of the Triple Trio, our weekly look at all things Hong Kong racing with the best analyst in the business in Clint Hutchison and the Hall of Famer in the Golden Boy and Raymond Shane Dye. Hutch, great to see you, mate.
And you too, Richo. What a weekend of racing. Group 1 racing in Hong Kong. J-Mac flies back into town.
Yeah.
And he's got a big weekend, actually, of racing. He's got a lot of Group 1 runners in Australia as well, but we'll be focusing on Hong Kong, and it's a great support card as well. Can't wait.
It should be an absolute beauty. It's the Golden Boys world. We're just living in it. Hello, Golden. Welcome to the show.
Hi, mate. How are you? You're back from your trip last week, which was good, and I'm back from Sydney. So it was a great day's racing last week. We might have seen the Derby winner, Richo.
Oh, we're going to talk about that, and actually we'll analyse a little later on in the show. We're going to break down that Classic Cup because there was a lot of really good runs in and around the winner. Helios Express was absolutely fantastic. Well, let's look back. There was some wonderful highlights last week.
Colonel in front, Young Horizons trying to close with on the inside Viva Allah. Colonel, Young Horizon dashing late at the post. I think Colonel held on. Colourful Emperor just in front. He's lifting hard. He'll get his maiden Hong Kong win. Colourful Emperor. It's Red Hair King, All Beauty, Winning Dragon dashing through late on the inside. After Red Hair King, Red Hair King. Solar Partner for Hugh Bowman, and he's off and gone. Solar Partner at 5.1 delivers. Strongest Boy is descending quickly down the middle of the track here under the Purton Drive, claims the lead. Strongest Boy's a Hong Kong maiden no longer.
Absolutely brilliant.
It was good, Joan. Great week. We don't get much better than that,
Well
Richo.
done, mate.
Look,
That
2
was
weeks
awesome.
ago we had backed 5 seconds at the Valley.
Don't
and that
talk
happens.
about that.
And it feels like a similar night, but, you know, it went our way and we were very thankful, and hopefully there's plenty more of those this season, especially
Well
this
done,
weekend
mate.
too.
Yeah,
Thank you.
form is temporary, class is permanent, and you are one classy act. There's no doubting that. Huge show coming up, all of the usual. Of course, we're going to burst out of the gates with the latest news, Genius or Slaughter. Have a look at a couple of runners that we need to follow into the future. We've got a stack of tips, and our star power guest is the one and only James McDonald. So that's going to be fantastic. And the road to the Hong Kong Derby is going to be a big feature of it as well. First, let's burst out of the gate. So we burst out of the gates and reflect just quickly on Helios Express, and then we'll analyse a little later on in our road to the Hong Kong Derby. But wonderful win, just got there, but given a sweet ride from Huey Bowman.
Yeah, there's a lot that needs to be dissected out of this race, which we'll do. But look, ultimately, he's won the Classic Mile, he's won the Classic Cup, and he's going to start favourite in the Derby itself. Chan Cheng was a lot better this time in a muddling race, and a couple of other eye catches, but he's got a great turn of foot, Shane, and he showed it once again. He's not doing too much wrong.
Needs a gate in the Derby to win. If he draws wide, he won't be winning that horse. He's the one horse that needs a gate. He needs the perfect run, and Huey will give it to him, but he needs a good gate. I thought Star Mac once again run well. When it was more or less on pace track, he couldn't win. Come Derby on the A track, which is normally midfield back markers, apart from a meeting on the A track about 2 times ago, it was on pace. He's going to be really suited, Star Mac, when it comes to the Derby.
Yeah, we'll analyse that Classic Cup and have a look towards that Hong Kong Derby a little later on in the show. But Helios Express has got 2 pins down, and he's got his eye on more. Zach Purton leads the premiership. Huey Bowman riding really well. They were trading blows throughout the week.
Yeah, I mean, they both had good weekends, and they both had probably rides they'd like to take back for whatever reason. But nice win from Divas 12, settled well back. I think it was about 6 lengths off them at the 600, and rounded them up nicely down that middle part of the track and came away to win well. He might be able to go on with it. Not sure there was a lot of depth there, but he went well. Huey Bowman on Solar Partner here, Shane. He's a horse that I think they mapped out this race for him, and he delivered in spades.
Well, he's been disappointing because when he's in Class 4, he looks like he's going to win in Class 3 easily. And he goes to Class 3 and he just hasn't coped so far for some unknown reason. Because he looks like he can win in Class 3, Clint, the way he won that.
Yeah, definitely. But, the boys are riding well. I think as a general, and they got another man to join the ranks on the weekend. J-Mac just going to say, I'm back in town again.
Yeah, that's right. Just flex the muscles a little bit, if you don't mind. Shane, you would have been thrilled to see young Ben Thompson. We had him on our show. He was like a sponge listening to all the advice that you were giving him. It's taken a little while, but he broke through for his first win.
He's had a lot of rides for no placings, but he hasn't had many chances. Like, none of them can really win, which is unfortunate. But he gave this a perfect ride. Clint, this horse trialled a lot better the other day with the blinkers on, and that's why he won. It's made him concentrate, and he was a better horse with blinkers.
Yeah, I'm kicking.
Gave it a very good ride too.
Kicking myself a little bit with him. We had him priced pretty big, but you're right. The trial was better. The blinkers really made a difference. I think he's a Savabeel, isn't he? And
yes,
the blinkers go on that, and Jamie Richards is going well himself. So Jamie had a double during the week. But well done to Ben Thompson. Like you said, Shane, he hasn't had a lot of good rides.
Well, he's had 53 rides, but there's been about 5 of them that have been decent.
Well, I think the average price is probably well up there, probably similar to what he had there. But he's got a couple of nice ones on the weekend, so hopefully he can get a bit of momentum.
Well, he can ride light is the key.
Yep.
He's a quality young man, he's a good rider. If he gets the opportunity, but, Shane, you've spoken about it so much. It just comes down to nailing your opportunity early. Otherwise, people are very quick to judge in Hong Kong.
Everyone gets a little bit of a chance in Hong Kong when they come, but you got to grab it, and you got to win on some horses that can't win races, and that's how you get going. It's a very even playing field, Hong Kong, for rides. Like, what I mean by that is everyone's in the same boat. You got Zach and you got Yui now, and then it's the rest. And it's a matter of who can get on the best chances.
Yeah. I think he's like you said though, Richo, he's a well-spoken, very professional young lad. He's ridden in Singapore as well, so he's got a bit of an idea in the Asian system. And I think personally, if he gets a little bit of luck early, he could really do well in time if he gets an opportunity to stay, because he's a very likeable lad, and he's exactly what the club and the trainers are looking for.
Absolutely. I've spent the last week down at the English Premier Yearling Sales, and there was a real Hong Kong influence there. Bumped into Dave Eustace. Ricky Yu was buying horses. We've seen Jamie Richards out and about, and he's starting to make some inroads. As you mentioned, that he got a double during the week.
Yeah, and this was a good win. This race rated well for Hugh Bowman as well. He jumped on, and a bit disappointing in the start before, but put that to bed. We're on Golden Long, and this race was a good run, and we'll touch on that later. And California Deeply, they finally went to 1,200. I was recommending that to Tony 2 years ago. He's finally listened and said, rightio, give it a go.
And what happened?
Well, he ran all right. I think he's going to win at 1,200. Shane Angus, another winner.
He's going good. It looked as though he could run 1,400, that horse you just mentioned, California Deeply, because he kept coming in the straight. This just hung on, got a soft lead, which he needs a soft lead, class 5, no pace, and he got it, and he fell in.
I tell you what, though, I mean, we always sing Luke Ferraris's praises, but you know what I especially like him on? A leader. He doesn't go too slow, Shane.
Yeah,
he rates them well, and he often, if anything, goes a little bit quick. But when you've got a horse like Colonel, who's better than that grade, you're better off going a bit faster, because it takes a lot of the ordinary ones out of their comfort zone.
Clint, last Sunday he had 3 rides. He ran us 2 seconds and a third, gave them all a perfect ride. The third was 145 to 1 chance. So it's not as though he gets many chances, and I don't understand it. The communication mustn't be as good as it should be with trainers, because the way he rides, he should be getting better rides. But only to have 3 on a Sunday is ridiculous for him.
Yeah, it is crazy, isn't it? But he will continue to develop. Hey, a quick look at the championship standings at the moment. So Pierre Ong has a lead of 12 at the moment. John's Size looms large with Ricky Yu and Casper Founds. David Hayes on 28. We mentioned Jamie Richards. He's moved to 22. Mark Newman has moved to 13 as well.
You know what it is with Pierre Ong at the moment, Richo? It's a bit like you at the 350k mark when you're in Tassie.
Mm-hmm.
About halfway through your little bike ride, and you're thinking, oh, I've got to find a little bit here.
Yeah.
Shane, they're starting to just bridge the gap all of a sudden.
Yes, and John's the one that can have, say, 3 or 4 winners in a couple of meetings. He's all of a sudden on him, and you know that he's going to turn things round with seconds to first, John, because he does it every year. So you're not going to do it after 23 years. You're not going to have, say, a lot more seconds than first. It just can't happen. He's the one that can turn it round and catch him. But he's got to have that 3 or 4 winners in a meeting to really get a run on.
I'm not sure he's the only one. I reckon Francis has a lot of nice young horses too. So, yeah, good to see Golden 60 back working as well. We saw stuff of that on screen, so fingers crossed he stays sound.
And Zach Burton leads by 26 at the moment. Karis Teeton leads Huey Bowman by 10, and James McDonald is sitting there on 20, same as Luke Ferraris.
It's a good effort for someone
we just mentioned. He's had 20 wins from 117 rides.
Yeah.
To put it into perspective, Zach's on 76 wins from 411. So that is it's interesting. We build up towards the great race, the Hong Kong Derby. The road to the Hong Kong Derby, well, the Hong Kong Classic Cup was run and won. We've mentioned that and showcased Helios Express, who right on the line put his nose down. There's so many interesting runs that I'd love to get the inside of you and also Shane in regards to who we should follow from the Hong Kong Derby.
Yeah, well, it's a bit like last year, Shane. I'll let you run through this first, but obviously the winner drew a nice barrier. You mentioned barriers, and he's drawn well in the Cup and now and the mile prior.
Sorry, watch gate 1 come off the fence. Zach does this all the time because he doesn't want to be on the fence. But what that does, it makes your horse pull because the outside comes across. He's 4 off. He should have just gone straight to the fence. He gets pushed back there. Now his horse is pulling because that's what happens when you come off the fence after the gates. He had no hope. He pulled too hard. They went slow. Huey doesn't care if he's behind Zach because he knows Zach will come off the fence, so then he can sneak that position. But if you watch your horse, who you like, Clint, I'll let you take that over.
Yeah, well, Chill Tubi's widest of all on the white colours with the pink and blue sleeves. So he's coming
back to last.
He's conceding ground there. He was wide. He jumped well. He probably, if he draws a gate, he could have been probably about where Simply Maverick is, 4 back, 1 off. But he ends up having to go back 3 or 4 lengths back to the inside, and he's back there now with Starmac, who was slow away. So, look, both of those horses made ground. The way this race was run in terms of tempo, I know it says it was inside a standard, but there was a down the back, there's a tailwind there. So it was slow, and this was a section that was very slow. So they condensed mid-race, Shane, and it actually suits those horses that have done no work early, like a Helios, who've drawn where he has. You're only just behind them, and then you're ready to sprint, which is where Hugh Bowman was.
Well, Starmac's back. He was gone at the 800 metres, Starmac, and that's why his run's so good. He kept coming in the straight. He never stopped. He's just looking for 1,200 metres. 2,000 metres. If you watch here, Huey would have got this on protest for sure if he had got beat. There's no risk he would have got it. He took him off his line, the second horse. So it was a good win, very good win, but he only had to quicken up. If he draws wide in the Derby and has to work early or something, Clint, it's a different ball game for him. But I've got no doubt he'll be favourite.
The key point, as we'll play this again from maybe about the 800 or so, but the key point here as well, they weren't going quick. So Helene Feeling, as you mentioned, was pulling. I don't know why they didn't lead. Did they want cover? Were that instructions? Quite possibly. And Sued is as one pace as you get. Ryan Moore has sat outside the leader on a soft tempo and trying to out-sprint horses like Helios Express.
Yeah.
You are not going to out-sprint Helios Express. He has the best turn, or one of the best turns afoot in the race. He's well positioned. So
Can we just pause it there?
We'll pause it here. So Ensued is just, he actually
So
waits.
identify, give us the colours for
He's
that.
outside the leader with the white cap and red-bodied colours.
Yep.
Now, the runner-up of the race, Chan Cheng's on the back of the leader.
Yep.
Obviously, Elliptica was very disappointing. He's in the 1-1, but Ryan waits a long time to make a move on Ensued for a horse that's a bit one pace. So, and the tempo of this race, and they just have gone no gallop at all in this middle stages. So that's why, and even early they weren't going that quick. So most of them are all pulling. Develops into a sprint home, Shane. So it suits those horses with a turn of foot. Like a Helios, he's done no work and a cheap run in the race, and that's why I think what you're saying spot on about when they go up to 2,000. Like he could get more tempo, and he's a bit held up. He probably should have won by further, but he almost had the race perfectly run for him.
Everything went right for the horse. The way the race was run, the ride, everything. And he won nice. He hit the line. But the Derby's a different race to this. It's totally different. And that's why that horse Star Mac's going to come into the Derby. They're going to put him in the Jockey Club. There's no risk, even though he's not in it. They've got to. He ran third in the mile. He ran a very good fourth there. And the Derby's going to be...
Was he the widest runner? Who was the widest runner?
Purple sleeves, mauve colours for Star Mac. The issue with Star Mac, Shane, he missed a start by 2 lengths there. He is one-dimensional. Now, when we watched those replays, Chilby actually jumped really well. He didn't need to be that far back. He could probably be midfield in a derby if he draws a gap barrier as well. He was first up after that long break. He's got home in some of the best closing sectionals of the race, and I thought it was a real eye-catcher run. Him and Starback ran well, but I think when you take into account what Chilby had done and his preparation leading in, it was
Who's going to ride Chilby?
I believe Jerry Chow will be riding him.
Right.
It was a very, very good run. There's no doubt about that. But what you got to remember is Tarmac wants the 2000. He's crying out for it. That's all he wants. It's a different ball game, the Derby, because it's on the A track. That track there last week suited on pace. I know on pace runners. I know a couple come from midfield and won, but circumstances allowed that. But you had to be on pace. He was always going to get back last. If it's a fair track, A track, little bit of pace on, he's going to hit the line. He definitely runs in the first 5 and can win Starmac. There's no possible way he cannot finish behind.
And that's a little bit the beauty of where we analyse things a bit differently. I didn't think it was an on-pace track, but I think the inside lanes were better. A lot of the horses that get a shortest way home, back to the inside was definitely a better spot to be. So that probably upgrades what Shane's saying about Starmac. Issue for me is you know where he's going to be. He's going to be last. He's going to be right out the back. He actually started $19 in the Cup as well. So the market wasn't really strong on him. But
that was because the way I had him marked $6 in the race, and as soon as I saw the track, I just put him out to 30s, 33s. Right. Didn't want to be on him. Didn't want to have a bar of him the way the track was. It'll be different. Didn't Ryan Moore win a derby coming from 4 lengths last a while ago? I remember that.
Yeah, well, but in terms,
for John Size?
Yeah, he did. But what's that got to do with
And it wasn't favourite.
So what are you saying? What's the analogy there that Starmac can give them all a head start and win?
They can win derbies coming from last. That's not a problem. He is going to be last.
What about if Helios Express draws a gate? How well did you think he settled, Shane?
Settled really well. Yui's got beautiful hands. That's not going to be the problem in the derby, him pulling. Right, Yui will have him locked away. The problem is if he draws, well, it's a waste of time us even talking about this because we don't know the gates. If he draws wide, he won't win that horse, right? Well, if he draws in, he can still win if he gets the right circumstances.
Well, I think it is a problem in this race because where's the pace coming from? The Derby. Where all of a sudden are we going to invent, speed at? We've had the mile, which was run at an even to good tempo, and now the Classic Cup, which was a farce. So in the Derby, who's going to go forward? And Sude's one that can, but the favourite doesn't want it. The stablemate, Helios, doesn't want it to truly run race.
But wasn't Voyage Bubble back last year?
He drew wide.
But didn't he go back to last in a slow run derby and circle them and win?
Yeah,
they can come from last.
But Voyage Bubble, Shane, has the ability to run in the first 4. Starmac doesn't have the ability to run in the first 4. He has no early speed.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
So you're going to be the victim of a track pattern, which wasn't the way the last time they were on the A, and also a race shape, which is debatable whether or not he'll get it. And then it's also, I understand what you're saying, but there's a couple of factors there that make it difficult for him.
Hey, a lot to play out. What about Massive Sovereign?
This is the horse. Yeah, I know Shane was pretty keen on this, so this was an amazing performance.
Right.
This was, and apparently the wind was strongest at this point of the day too, so, there's a few horses that felt the pinch late, but this came up really good on my ratings. We're going to cover this later. But to win, Shane, first up, 2,000 metres, put a margin on them. You can get a good line with Simple Hedge as well. Like, he ties in a lot of these runners. That is some sort of effort. And tell us about what you think, because I know you were giving him a good chance before the race.
Yeah, I actually text Clint saying he would be winning and could win the Derby. He's my tip in the Derby. I think he wins the Derby if he gets the right ride. Now, that horse, the quieter you ride him, the better he goes, right? If you have a look at his English runs to start before, he's a Group 1 horse for sure. His win before he got here was just unbelievable. You had to see it to believe it. It was outstanding. And he's a lot better than these horses in that class in Hong Kong. So I actually said to Clint, I'm betting up on him, but I want Zach to ride him back last. And Zach gave him a perfect ride. If he gets that type of ride in the Derby quiet and not pushed forward, he's the horse to beat. I think he should be favourite for the Derby, but he won't be.
And is Zach confirmed to ride?
I don't know, but I wouldn't think he'd be jumping off.
No. Well, let's have a look at your rankings. So,
well, that race is rated the best.
Bang, straight to the
straight
top.
There. And look, let's not forget, this is his first number that I've been able to put up, and he's marginally clear. And these are, for those who don't know, this is a figure based on weight adjustment and their best performance. So the Car Ying Generation Simple Hedge race, where they went very hard, that rated very well with me. I don't think they're going to get that kind of tempo. Helene Feeling's got a great body of work, and this is even more like mind-blowing why they haven't gone forward the other day and tried to sort of make it a bit of a test, because he doesn't have a turn of foot. Helios does, he's right there, and then we've got Chill Chubby amongst the others. But Massive Sovereign is right in the game, and I agree with Shane. He is a fantastic chance, and it'll be interesting to see what he is on the day, because Helios has been $1.60 last start. Oh, that's short. It's way.
He won't be $1.60.
No, he won't be, but it's a lot more open than that. Yeah. This race is going to be a lot more open than that.
It's going to be.
I got him on top. Massive Sovereign from Star Gem, and then Helios Express third. Yep. Star Mac, I should say, second. And
no love for Chill Chilby, Shane. You don't like Chill Chilby?
He's definitely got a chance. Yep. There's no risk. His run the other day was really good. He had to go back because he was wide, and he would have been told to do that. And also, he was first up, so he's definitely not the worst.
And we had Danny Shum, who, and thanks to Nicole once again, great interview with Danny and his highlighters. Let's not forget that. But he was a highlight. Danny was a highlight. So it wasn't the only ones we saw, but I was really encouraged to be going in reverse at that stage of the race, to run on like he did. First up, break, interrupted preparation.
Ooh. And I loved Danny. We've had a lot of social media correspondence. Every time Romantic Warrior wins a race, Danny buys a highlighter. That's what someone said to us on social media. What an absolute beauty. Hey, let's find out who jumped into our black book called Sweet in Defeat.
They're off. And Sugar missed the start by 4 lengths. Then Dublin Star. Sugar fast buck, smart leader. Oversubscribed, lunges at the post. Missed. Sugar. That's a sweet win for Alfie Chan.
Who jumps into our famous Sid file?
I only got a couple this week, Richo. Not a lot to really, I thought that, caught my eye. Chill Chilby, I'll be following him. I think you're going to get a price, hopefully, in the main event in a few weeks' time, and I'll be happy to back him. And I think Golden Long, he just didn't step that well out of the barriers, Golden Long, unfortunately, but he was up in class. The race sort of just got away from him, and you can see just jumped fairly. And in a race with plenty of speed, he was sort of on the back foot very early, but I like the way that he closed off. It was a race that was won by horses that were settling in the first 3 in the run. But Shane, I think Golden Long, there's more races for him. He closed off well. Chadwick sort of didn't panic, but yeah, I mean, Matt had a win on the night with Red Hair King, but once he was a bit slow away here, he couldn't win from there.
The problem with him, Clint, is he's had 4 starts now and he's missed the start twice. It's not the jockey's fault, it's the horse's fault. He's done it twice, so he can always do that now. But if he jumps well, he's up running second, so you're going to get 2 of him. One who's slow out, who gets back, but if he jumps, you want to be on him. He probably, if he jumps, wins the race.
So Chill Chibby goes in, and so does Golden Long into that world-famous Sid file.
It's not a good habit when they start missing the start, Shane.
No. Global harmony.
No. We want to eliminate that. Jockeys in Hong Kong, time for you to sit up and take notice.
The end across, answering the urgings of Shane Dye. Mannerism coming at him. Mannerism has got it. Daring tactics by Shane Dye. He's got Octagonal in full flight on the corner. Bold tactics by Shane Dye are going to pay off, and he pinches the Chipping Norton.
Jockey's time now. Genius or Slaughter from the Hall of Famer. Golden Boy, who caught your eye with a gun ride?
I'm going to do it a little bit different. I'm going to put a few races up here because Zach rode very well and so did Yui, but there was one race each of there where things went wrong and it cost them the race. This is the first one, Son of Mac. This was just outstanding from Yui. You watch him, outside gate, goes back last on the fence and doesn't leave the fence. And at no stage does he get the horse off balance or under pressure. He just goes straight there. This is classic. And then we can forward it on, boys. We'll go up here. He's still back fence. He's saved here. This is what I mean with Zach this year, with jockeys beating Zach in a lot of races. And it's nothing that Zach's done wrong, but Zach's given us a perfect ride here in the blue cap, right? And he's got to come out. Yui just stays on the fence, gets up, gets the best ride of all time, Clint. best run of all time, and wins the race, beats Zach half a length. If he finds trouble, Huey, Zach wins the race.
Yeah, and I think, that really is a good snapshot into the season that Hughes had. And when I look at it, I think, the ride, he doesn't win with another ride.
No,
it's just
simple as that.
No possible ride. No possible way he does, Clint.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
And most of Huey's rides on the weekend would not have won with another jockey. He just is. He's the best in Hong Kong at riding horses back, saving them, and hitting the line.
And his ride on Blue Marlin caught your eye?
Well, this is a situation we're going to stop it. This wasn't. A lot of people blame Zach in this race that he should have won it, and I'm going to explain something. They went very quick up here, and Zach lost his spot. Now, the horse inside of Zach is 145, but Zach would have known last time. You see him in the blue. It should have won for sure, Zach's horse. There's no risk about that. Huey's behind him in the purple cap. Now, what he does, Zach, is because they quicken the pace and run a 1:21.46, which is fast, he allows his horse a chance to travel, and in doing so allows Zach Ferraris come off. And now he's one spot further back than he should be, and now he pulls and he loses another bit of ground, whereas Huey has been 3 lengths behind him, and now he's in front of him. So you only got to look at how much ground Huey's made. Huey's made up 5 to 6 lengths throughout the race, being on the inside for Zach. But it wasn't. You can see where they are now, and that was reversed. And Zach should have been where
he was.
Luke Ferraris was.
Right.
He should never have been fenced, but he should have been where Luke was. Now, have a look here. Huey cuts the corner. Zach's now got to make the ground up. He can't. It should have won for sure. There's no risk. But I can understand why Zach gave him a chance in this race, and I don't blame Zach for putting feet on that, because he was trying to give him a chance. But if he has that ride again, 300 metres after the start, he holds Luke in, and he stays at 3 lengths closer, and if he does that, it wins the race for sure.
Why did Luke come off the fence?
That's a good point, because that horse was 145 to 1. He should have stayed on the fence too, but he was travelling a bit and just come out to give himself more room. And Huey's just laughing 4 or 5 lengths behind, because he's made up 6 lengths doing no work, saving ground, and he wins. Like at the 1,000 metres, when I saw that, I just said, Huey's going to win this. Yeah. Because it's a bit like that race last week with Amazing Victory. You know how I said he should have won the race? Well, Huey was a spot further back last week on Amazing Victory than he should have been through the same circumstances as that race. If he was that spot closer, he wins for sure, and it's just circumstances of racing. So I can understand, but I had a few people ring me, say, look at Zach after this, it should have won for sure. Yes, it should have won, but I can understand what Zach was trying to do. He was trying to give him his chance, because last time he was up on the pace 3 deep and he stopped, and they quickened the pace fast there.
I think what's really good about it as well is it shows you, like, as Ferraris comes off and Zach's there, I know in hindsight it's easy to say, well, he could have gone inside, and I probably was guilty of that. But that said, Huey just saw an opportunity and bang, took it. I mean, and that's what we want, the good riders, split second, taking those opportunities, riding competitively, and you see the real, the great riders do that. So, I think really good explanation there from Shane.
Hey, Shane, also, what did you like about Zach's ride on Massive Sovereign?
Well, he gave it a chance. He was back on the fence early. He never panicked and never tried to. Watch him here. He stays on the fence. So Zach can stay on the fence when he wants to. But this horse, I don't think he realised how good he was, because when they've got a chance with Zach, he doesn't want to be there. So he gave him a chance. He was first up, and it was just a perfect ride. But the thing about this race is here. Now, a lot of people criticise Huey here. It was a mistake, but I can understand what he did. He come out 3 deep to follow, but what he did was the kid inside started to pull, and the kid come out and pushed him 4 wide. So now he goes, oh, shit, I've got to go forward. In the meantime, Zach's just riding his perfectly. He hasn't panicked, and Huey's got to go forward now to be 3 deep, because they haven't gone fast in this race. That's why Huey come out. It was a mistake of Huey's, but I can understand why he did it, because he thought that things would have been going to get going. He'll give himself a chance, but he didn't realise the kid was going to come out. In the meantime, Zach's back a bit now, which is just perfect. And he's given this horse a chance because he hasn't raced in Hong Kong. He's got to go 2,000 metres. And you watch him quicken up. This is a really good horse, boys. He quickened up like a star, this horse, and Yui's gone. He's run his race. Now, if Yui has that time again, Yui doesn't do that. He stays one off the fence, one off the fence. So it's a bit like Zach in that previous race where he come back a bit. If he had his chance again, he would have been forward a bit. If Yui had his chance again, he wouldn't have come out 3 deep to go forward, but he got pushed 4 wide. So I can understand what Yui was doing, and I accept it. You know, it wasn't a slaughter or whatever. Like Zach's wasn't a slaughter in the last, because there were reasons why they did things, and it makes sense. But some people don't understand. I had 4 texts. Jesus, Yui slaughtered that. What was Yui doing? But when you look at it, I can understand why he did it. But Zach's ride there was absolutely perfect, sensational.
Yeah. Any slaughters at all, Golden Boy?
Oh, not again. Redhead. Now, here's a winner that was slaughtered. Redhead King. There's no pace in the race. Why he didn't lead's got me beat.
Why didn't he go forward, Shane? Why didn't he go forward?
About Matthew Chadwick?
No. Last year, Matthew rode sensational. This year, he hasn't. And it's things like this, and he's got to change. Now, this horse was the only leader in the race, and he come out and he didn't even try to lead. All he had to do was lead, and he would have won by 3 or 4 lengths, this horse.
I couldn't agree more.
And instead, he just keeps coming back on him, and he's the only leader in the race.
Was he riding to instructions?
Mate, who knows? But if it was, Tony got the instructions wrong.
Well, Tony doesn't generally mind them going forward. I am shocked. All Beauty's a back marker. It's leading. The horse that's outside was easy to have on speed, but there's no speed. 28.19 is not quick.
4 wide without cover.
He still wins. And, you know, it was obviously our best on Wednesday, but I tell you what, you just don't see them win like this at the Valley very often. So it shows you, Shane, how much he had up his sleeve. And the start before, when Alexi Bedell, apparently Tony Cruz wasn't too happy either, because he left the rail, which was red hot on the night, and obviously it was Winning Dragon with Abdullah that capitalised.
Well, Clint, I brought it up. I wouldn't show it because it was that bad a ride. I had my biggest bet on this horse, and I text someone down the back, can you effing believe this? Not again, right? I thought that.
How did that horse win?
I don't know, but it still won. That was a really bad ride, and it still won.
Is that the worst winning ride we've seen?
It's one of them.
Yeah, there you go.
One of them.
Of course, all of the jockeys in Hong Kong want to know the votes for racing's greatest individual honour. So, who did you give the votes to?
Well, Yui's got to get 4. He rode 5 winners over the 2 days, and they're all outstanding rides. Zach's got to get 2. Zach's riding very well. Bedell rode this horse really well, amazing teens. He went at the right time and it won. Bentley rode very well last weekend, rode 2 winners. Fence gave them beautiful rides, and one was 45-1. And DeMello, I think he could be the best rider at Happy Valley, DeMello. He rides it so well. Yeah, and he gave that a beautiful ride. He's one of the best riders, if not the best, at Happy Valley.
And overall, he would go up to 10 points as a result of that, DeMello. So, but Zach and Huey ahead of Karras with a little gap now to Brett and Abdullah. But the Zach and Hughes show might go down to the wire for racing's highest individual honour.
Yeah, we haven't got J-Mac there, but he's still not happy about it.
Well, that's fair enough too. I mean, I've said my piece.
You've lodged a protest on his behalf.
Official
Richo,
protest.
I think he's coming up soon, isn't he? We've got him on today, so you can address that with him.
We'll
and
address
you can give me a pay, but
we'll address it. Beautiful work. That was great insight in the Genius or Slaughter. Hey, let's have a look at what's been happening around the world. So let's talk global racing. And Hutch, you told me about William Buick and a little saddle slip moment. Describe it to us.
What a piece of riding, yeah. The saddle slipping, kicked his feet out. You don't often see this in a race. Shane can help us out here. I don't think I've seen it where, you know, you can see the saddle shifting forward there and the horse is starting to get a bit keen. So
Cinderella's Dream,
Cinderella's Dream was her name. This is naturally in Dubai. And then he basically just drops his feet out to Shane to sit on. But what a response. And now about How about the piece of horsemanship from this particular rider, Willie Buick, and under the circumstances? He's almost going to say, well, I'm just going to leave the race now.
Well, it's amazing. I have seen this before in New Zealand when I was apprentice. I forget the race. It wouldn't be on TV or anything, but someone did it in a race in New Zealand when I was a kid. There's nothing you can do when the saddle slips because you can't get them back even though you want the saddle to come back. And when your feet are actually in the irons like I rode, it was always, you can't get them out to do this. But when it's only a toe, it's easy to slip them out. And he did that, and he just gave it he just showed a lot of balance, Clint. It's all about balance.
And just quietly, Shane, how much did that horse have on the rest of the thing?
What price was it, Clint?
I don't know. I don't know, but
I gather it was the favourite, and if he was riding it,
Did you see the one where the jockey fell off at the 100 metres?
No, that was in New Zealand, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, when it was.
And it was going to win.
Yeah, it was rolling up to win.
His toe slipped out. It was going to win for sure. It was in front at the 100, and he hit it, and his toe slipped out of the iron, and he just went straight over the side.
Yeah.
And going to win easy. It was going to win.
Yeah, it definitely was. That's might be featuring in our bad beats moving forward. Also, a big shout out. The Southport Tycoon winning the Australian Guineas was unbelievable. So many stories. Kira Mart, Jamie Carr gave it a peach of a ride, got off the back of V8 and came over the top to win. But Hutch, for us at the Triple Trio, we had another layer to it.
We did, and a special congratulations to Matthew Ennis, who's the main man behind Group 1 Goldmine, and obviously he did all his algorithms, all his study with the product that he promotes. He bought into Southport Tycoon on the back of the hard work he'd put in, and this is a congratulatory breakfast with the family on the back of their Guineas win. So well done to Matthew. Another reason to get involved with Group 1 Goldmine if you like the pedigrees and where it can lead you. It's a fantastic story. We're very happy.
So he crunched all the analysis and went, hang on, gee, this horse is
a good purchase.
Actually, Nathan Bennett's bought it for $300,000 off the top of my head. I might just go and buy a little slice of that.
Went and took a slice of it, and it's a fantastic result. Now,
well done.
Millions as a stallion, potential stallion.
Absolutely, a son of written tycoon. Think about the Whirlpool. We've got so many great meetings coming up, and certainly Australia Cup Day will be an absolute beauty. And this will be across, I mean, you can bet all day from a Whirlpool scenario into the night.
How good is that?
And also Melbourne and Sydney combining with the Australia Cup Day at Flemington and Tancred Stakes Day at Rose Hill, and then launch into Dubai World Cup, which is firmly on my bucket list. I've never been. I would love. I know you have. You'd arrived at racing.com. I personally got you a gig, and then you arrived here. You were there for 2 weeks and got off to
sayonara.
Dubai.
You'd like it there. It's your kind of place.
Thank you.
Look, yeah, you'll enjoy it. But what a result for punters as well.
Fantastic.
All of those meetings. Gee, that's going to be a big day.
Oh, fantastic. Yep. Hey, we've got one Hall of Famer on our panel. I reckon we're about to be joined by a future Hall of Famer. James McDonald, our star power guest. Absolutely wonderful to have our star power guest, the greatest jockey to come out of New Zealand in the history of the country is James McDonald. J-Mac, what an absolute treat to see you, mate. How are you?
Yeah, you've already started hot. We'll upset our little mate over there.
Okay, my turn.
Here we go.
Be the greatest, but Richo, he's not the smartest.
I'll play that one.
You see what you've started already?
Sorry, I'm sorry about that. I should have actually led James when talking to you about some of your magnificent dance moves we saw with Taylor Swift. By gee.
I learnt them off Daisy too in his nightclub in Gold Coast. So.
One thing I can't do is dance.
Really? Doesn't even.
I do because I know I can't.
Yeah.
Oh, mate.
Yeah, that was first and last time too. So I'll take that note off you, Daisy.
Yeah, good idea,
It looks
mate.
like Kiwis have no rhythm, eh, James?
No, definitely not.
Let's talk racing, my friend. And can we start with Romantic Warrior? Mate, wasn't your champ just so incredibly tough the other day?
Oh, he's phenomenal, and he's just a beast to ride. Every time you ride him, he just gives you so much confidence, and you just feel like as soon as you get legged on him, you're just unbeatable at times. And he's talk about a proper weight for age horse that can put himself into a spot, can sustain a good gallop, and has got a good turn of foot to get you out of trouble if you need it. So he's ideally, we obviously just seen the difference between obviously a horse like Romantic Warrior and a Fangirl, where Fangirl obviously has got a racing pattern that doesn't win like 9 times out of 10, where this one, he's completely different. He absorbs pressure and he's just a phenomenal horse. So
Was it unfolding in the race, James, like you wanted it to? Like, were you happy where you were and tactically?
Well, well, I didn't. I went out with a preconceived idea of just giving him a chance early and letting it unfold. But the beauty about this horse, you can go with the flow with him a little bit. You just roll the dice if you have to, and if you go on feel, he's generally gets himself into a spot. So we just played it by ear. We probably was a couple of spots closer than we probably anticipated in the run, but he got into a nice rhythm. I was wrapped to be able to get a bit of cover on him, because that's obviously a pretty crucial. And then the rest of the race just unfolded as it did. But look, there was probably a little worrying moment at the 600 where I had 2 horses in front of me and one to my outside, which wasn't completely going to script. But anyway, we managed to find a little gap and away we went.
Always hard to assess, but can you give us a little comparison of how he felt Cox Plate Day, how he felt International Day, and then how he felt a couple of weeks ago?
No, I think it's a fair assessment in terms of like he felt like on last 3 weeks ago was he was better than he was in Melbourne. I don't think we've seen the best of him in Melbourne, to be fair. And even in the Hong Kong Cup, I don't think he was. I think he was a length or 2 off his best. So he felt brilliant there the other day, and I think it was a better win than his Hong Kong Cup as well as his Cox Plate.
Yeah.
So it says he's on the right way of going. Danny's got him back to where he should be. He was just the whole time in Melbourne, we were just chasing our tail. It was just a horrible prep in terms of everything that happened to him. But he's still good enough to win, and I think now he's had that that 3 weeks break into that last race, and now he's got another 2 months to his next one. He'll be better again. I think the preparation will suit him much better.
Yeah, I can't wait to see him there. I don't want to hark too much on that race, but just quickly on Voyage Bubble as well, because you've ridden him leading in as well. You must have been impressed with his performance.
Yeah, he ran out of his skin. To be honest with you, I didn't think he would get as close as he did to Romantic Warrior, especially over that trip, and especially even at the 400 when I sliced through. I thought, oh well, he'll put paid on, but geez, he stuck to his guns so well. But that horse is in career best form. Like, he's going phenomenally well. He feels amazing. He's obviously got a really good turn of foot, and he got a lovely steer there the other day. So he put it to the champ, and we were lucky enough we got away with it. But horse is flying, and obviously I think they're going to Dubai or something with him. So we'll see how he goes there.
You jump on the sprint champ, Lucky Sweynesse, on Sunday. How did that come about? And great to be back on him. And what do you think?
Yeah, looking forward to it. He's obviously he probably put in his worst performance last start, so there's probably a little bit of unknown. But in saying that, I still thought he ran well without much luck. Obviously, Zach thinks Beauty Eternal's a better ride. He's gone that way, but I think if he brings us somewhere close to his A form, he probably doesn't need to bring his A form, but close to it, he's going to be ultra hard to beat. He's so consistent, this horse. He always runs pretty well, and he's unbeaten over 1400, which is such a positive. I think he's racing more like a 1400 metre horse now, and I think it's right up his alley. Obviously, a little bit of a sticky gate, but 1400. I'm pretty confident that he'll run it out really well in terms of he'll get the job done.
Shane, what do you think?
I think he wins. I don't think he was disappointing last start. I don't know how you can say that. He come home at 21 something, and he wasn't pushed out fully because he had no room. It wasn't Sack's fault he got beat. He's lost his gate speed, but he's never really had gate speed. I think the barrier is good. You could be 3 deep though, but I'm sure you'll work that one out. But he's the horse they've got to beat. I've got no doubt about it. He runs 14 metres easy. I think he'll run a mile. So I'm not worried about the 14. He's the horse they've got to beat, James. He's the best horse in the race, and I know everyone says he's not going as good as he was, but he's had excuses all the time.
J-Mac, this was his win last year. We're just replaying when you sat outside pretty much in California Spangle. It was a real sprint home. Gee, they ran some electric closing sectionals here, but he would have given you a good feel this day. And I don't think either of Lucky's probably a little bit below his best, but still racing well, but California Spangle's not going. But it could be similarly run to an extent this year.
Yeah, hopefully a little bit. That was a 5-horse field. I think we've got 11 to continue with this, or 10 to continue with this time. So maybe that will generate a little bit more pressure. But in saying that, it was a sprint home. But he gave me an excellent feel that day. I actually thought he'd be a proper chance in an Everest if he decided to come down. So off that victory. But yeah, I think Guys is right there with the 1400. I think it's definitely a positive for him, especially how he's lost a little bit of a gate speed. But in saying that, he's going to have nice galloping room, hopefully, and show his wares. But yeah, looking forward to it. Actually, I'm really. I thought it was a really good phone call when I got it. To obviously ride him again, and looking forward to it.
Yeah, really big plus for me, the barrier too. Gives J-Mac a bit of an opportunity because this horse, Beauty Eternal, will be drawn inside you, and he looks a good chance for Zach as well. He's gonna probably park. Zach's gonna be handy, I would think, and mindful of where you are. But he brings this form with Voyage Bubble, and you've got to respect that form too, J-Mac. You know a lot of these horses now. You're travelling up and back, but Beauty Eternal hasn't done too much wrong, and he's really all season.
Oh, 100%. He's very nice, and he stuck with Voyage Bubble right here, as we can see. He gave him he gave him a run for his money right here. But he's I think he's going to be suited to the 1400. To be honest with you, he's obviously a mile just stretches him a tad, but that run was full of merit. That's as good as you get, especially with Voyage Bubble form. And yeah, like I say, hopefully we can get a nice enough runs in transit, but I think galloping room's going to be a nice advantage for Lucky Sweynesse if we can get it.
Hey, Mac, before Hutch is about to give his selections, before we go there, mate, how are you coping with doing it all? Because you're certainly doing it all. You're doing it in Australia and then zipping over to Hong Kong as often as you can, and you're doing it with a little child and a pregnant wife. Mate, how are you doing it all at the moment?
Loving it. Loved getting on that plane and getting over there. I've never slept so well in my life.
James, have you been sick or something or not? You're not sick?
No, why?
There's Newcastle races today and you're not riding.
Yeah.
What's going on?
I asked some advice from some jockey that said he only rode on Saturday when he was back in the heyday. So I thought I'd take that advice, but I throw in on a Wednesday from time to time. So I'm doing a little bit more than you did.
Hey, J-Mac, just before I give my selections, and I've got your even money favourite with Lucky Sweynesse, but we've been talking about the Derby. Have you got a Derby ride?
Yeah, I've ended up on Helene Feeling. He just obviously had blinkers on last start and didn't settle at all. So Danny said he's taken the blinkers off, but look, he's a runner's chance. I suppose you two know the form better than what I do, but hopefully he can hit some prize money or run well. But hopefully a good gate would be essential to his chances, I would have thought.
That'd be a fair weekend for you, mate. It's the day after the Slipper, so you win the Slipper and then jump on a plane and win the Derby.
Yeah, well, yeah, it'd be nice. I tell you, it would be nice to win the Slipper, that's for sure. But we'll see how we go.
What are you actually riding in the Slipper, James?
Oh, you're a beauty. I don't know. I'll see whichever one Ryan doesn't want to ride.
Tell me, tomorrow, Switzerland, do you think he can win? That's a really good race.
It's a brilliant race, isn't it? It's a lot of 2-year-old races I've seen since probably the Animo year where he clashed with Home Affairs and Stay Inside. That was a brilliant addition to the Todman, and this year's no exception. So, we're nice enough. He's trained on really well, so we'll see what happens. It's well documented, not much of him, but he's a real racy horse, and hopefully we can just give him a chance, and he'll finish.
Who do you hope Ryan picks?
God's sake. You're just as bad as him. I don't know.
Don't tell him, J-Mac. Just say, oh, well.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Hey, James, while I've got you on the subject of things, I've seen a superstar. Everyone has. Another New Zealand horse who's a superstar. Orchestral. You rode her 3 starts ago in the Karaka Millions, and you'll be riding her in Australia. She looked so good. I think she'd probably be the best horse in Australasia now. That's how good she is, right? How did you think when you rode her, how was she?
Oh, no, she's very, very good. I got off and I said to Roger, and Roger was actually flabbergasted what I said about her, but I said she's better than Silent Achiever, and Silent Achiever did wonderful things over here as well, but she's probably as good as you get in terms of a rising 3-year-old filly coming through the ranks, and she's built like a colt. She's so strong, but she's got the best attitude in the world, and she just takes everything in her stride. But that you ever look at the Avondale Guinea, she never changed onto a fresh leg all the way up the straight and still won by 4. And she's just going so well. But there's plenty of exciting times with her. But she's obviously got a busy schedule ahead of herself. She ran in a derby, and now she's got to come over here for a Vinery and an Oaks. So it's busy enough, but she's definitely a nice, robust filly that will cope with it, I would have thought, and her attitude will take her a long way. But her turn of foot is very, very good. But I think
I wouldn't hesitate running her in the Derby.
The only reason she wouldn't run in a Derby is because it's a week back up.
All right, my friend, what are your selections?
Well, my selections, Lucky Sweynesse hopefully will justify the short price that I've marked him, even money. Beauty Eternal's got to be right there. I'm really interested to see Galaxy Patch on the back up to 1,400 metres. He's one that I could shorten from my early rated price. And Taj Dragon was very unlucky in that last replay we showed with Lucky Sweynesse. Hugh Bowman, gate 1. He'll be 3 back fence and riding patiently. Looking forward to that race as well. J-Mac, just quickly, we won't keep you too much longer. You're heading off. Your rides there on the weekend outside of Lucky Sweynesse. Interesting runner with Giddy Up for Jamie Richards. Maybe they're trying to get a late call up for the Derby. Anything you can tell us about Giddy Up, the last start winner?
Not really, Hutch. I obviously I rode Karma last start as well, so obviously he would have been a good ride in the race. But Giddy Up was, I thought he's just progressing really well. He looks to, his win was great the other day, so hopefully we can, he's got a good barrier. Hopefully we can eke a trip in terms of giving him a clear run, but he's going to be finishing strong. I'm not too sure about the question about the Derby, but he just looks like he's on a right trajectory.
Yeah,
so
he looks
that's why
like
I went that way.
He looks like also will get over a bit of ground bred for it too. And just hitting his straps now, but it might all just come a bit soon. But he looks a good ride for you anyway, J-Mac, so good luck.
Hey, Mac, you're a beauty, mate. I know you're a busy man. We'll let you go. But just quickly, I've been campaigning that you should be eligible for Shane Dye's The Idol competition.
Leave me out.
Shane doesn't want you in because you're not officially in Hong Kong. And I think you should be right at the top of the leaderboard. Surely you want to win racing's highest individual honour and have that little bobblehead at home.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind the little bobblehead at home.
You could stick pins. J-Mac, you could stick pins in it if you needed to, like a voodoo doll.
I've actually got a little
James, James, while these boys are avoiding the question and trying to have a dig at me and get me to bite, what's your best in Australia tomorrow, which I'm more interested in?
My best in Australia?
Yeah, tomorrow. What do you like?
I actually like my 2-year-old in the fillies race.
Okay. I see the favourite scratched in it this morning.
Yes, it is, yep.
So,
Estonia.
It was a good run the other day. It got back and run on well, that horse. I can't remember its name, but I watched it.
Neither I can't pronounce it either. Silimalaron or Silimalaron, something like that.
Mate,
anyway,
it wouldn't matter what you say. It wouldn't matter what you say. You're going to be better than me at pronouncing it. You've got me covered on that one.
Oh, I think it's a dead eat there, guys.
There'll be a lot of people sitting there thinking, as I just go and grab my form guide out, there'll be a lot of people sitting there thinking, what are these two dribblers talking about?
Oh, I know.
And you are talking about Sil Marion, which is it draws an inside barrier for James Cummings.
Well, you got a big weekend anyway, J-Mac, so all the very best of luck.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Cheers, guys.
Mate, we love your work, brother. Thanks so much for your time. Sunday, Sha Tin. We've already looked at our Group 1 feature with James McDonald.
Yes.
So let's fast forward to race number 9 and your prices and selections.
The back end of the card is very competitive, and I think the penultimate race got a good chance here with CP Brave. I've got him marked a reasonably long price favourite. Gee, I think the weight drop's the big positive for him. 5G Patch carries weight along with Happy Together, but they have to be in the game. Happy Together hasn't had any luck of late, and 5G Patch brings a romantic warrior form and alacrity. You don't see Zach get down in the weights too much. And he's very competitive. I'll be against Super Sunny Singh, 1800, slow run race, sprint home here. And I think Sweet Encounter Shane will improve, potentially up in trip with that lightweight. He had a lightweight here, but he's not a sit sprint type of horse. He needs a bit more tempo, and I'm hoping he gets it on the weekend.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty open race, this, Clint. There's quite a few chances. I've got Happy Together on top. He should have won his last 2 starts. Last start it was just they walked in the race and it was a sprint home, and he was the best run in the race. He's had no luck the start before. He should have won a similar start to this. And from gate 2, he can definitely race closer if they want to. There's not a lot of pace in this race, Clint. I know Champion Dragon from gate 13 will win. So Happy Together's got to be a bit closer, and I've got him on top.
Yeah, it's an interesting race. I think CP Brave can be pretty handy, and that's the other thing. I mean, he's drawn 9. We've seen him not be too far off them. Like you said, Shane, there's a lot of horses that get back. You're right with Happy Together. I think if those two go forward, we know where 5G Patch he'll be back there, but Hugh on board, and he's a quality horse. But yeah, it could be a map advantage for both Happy Together and I'm hoping CP Brave.
Race number 10.
Last race of the day, another really tough race. I think Giddy Up is a very good chance for J-Mac. I really do. I loved his win. The day that he won, look, the last couple of races changed a bit, but it was very much an up and in day the day that Giddy Up settled back and rounded them up, and it was a race that was suited to those horses in that position. But he's going about it the right way, and I think he looks well placed here for Jamie Richards and J-Mac. And you know that they're there to win too, along with the Luminous, because they potentially want to get a run in the Derby. Now, of course, this is Universal Horizons win. Shane, I thought Karma was all right here, but I don't know about this one. There's so many of them that come out of this race, but gee, there was a length between about 9 of them?
9 horses, 1 length or 3/4 of a length. It was incredible. I think the blinkers come off Beto, don't they? So I could be wrong. I thought they did. Yeah, they come off him. He's not the worst, but I had Giddy Up on top, Clint. From gate 1, going to get a really good run, can race a little bit closer going to a mile. And Beto's racing well, ridden back, and he'll hit the line. But it's hard out of that race because there was so many that ran well, but they're all together, and they're all in this race again.
What you have to temper your form with there for those at home, I mean, that race that we showed as well, Richo, whilst there wasn't much first to last or first to 10th, for example, that was the day where 8 of 10 winners were within 2.5 lengths of the lead. Like, it was an on-pace day. Yeah. So the horses like Beto, like Karma, you know, those horses that were back and running on, they weren't really suited by the bias or pattern that day. They'll probably go better, and the market was quite strong with them. I wouldn't be surprised if they turned it around. Okay, yeah, it's going to be really interesting. Let's look at the very best bets for the weekend on Sunday. Where do we start, Hutchbuster? No pressure. You're absolutely flying. Wednesday was great. We're gonna keep it going on the weekend. Your best bets have been superb. When I write them down, I feel like I should have this. This should be. We're getting you a better. This shouldn't be blue. It should be gold. Go for it. All right, the best bets. Here we go. Patch of Theta, extremely hard to beat. He's had pace and pattern against of late. Hugh Bowman, drawn a gate. Oh, praise the Lord. I think we can get there with Patch of Thread. I think he looks a great bet. I really like the early part of the card too, but you'll have to subscribe for the rest of that. CP Brave, I'm taking Quinella with those other horses. I'm hoping he's a price CP Brave because I think you'll see a few of them get around the likes of Happy Together and obviously those at the top order. But those would be the two main plays for the weekend. But I think it's a great card and I think there's some really good bets early in the program as well.
And you need to subscribe.
Yes.
You need to be part of the action. And I think moving forward, being part of the action, subscribing might offer a lot of opportunities, maybe even to be part of some future travel with us. But more on that. That's a little tease later on. Golden Boy, what do you think?
I'm thinking of subscribing also.
Good idea.
My best bets just are gone after 100 metres. They can't win because the race hasn't unfolded or folded the way I thought it would. Like last week, Orderful. Oh my God, it couldn't win after 50 metres. They just crawled in that race. 80 light years, this should be winning. He's been running in very hard races. I think Gorgeous Win and Car Ying Rising's beat him his last two starts, and he had a bad run in the race last start too. He was 3 deep up there attacking the lead. Zach gets on him for the first time. He'll go forward. It's a lot weaker race. There's not many chances he's going to be short, but he looks like winning. But I just hope I don't jinx Zach because I've been jinxing them.
There's no jinxing. And you know what, Shane? You're on the podium this week. He's hard to beat. I love it. I love 80 light years as well. He'd be hard to beat.
Just got to believe, my friend. At all times, you've got to believe. Great show, Golden Boy.
Thank you, mate. See you next week. You're looking good as normal.
Oh, thank you very much. I went the middle part today. Good to see you, Hutchbuster.
Yes.
Please subscribe. Hutchie's Honkers. It's absolute beauty. He's in good form at the moment. Thanks for watching the show. Look forward to your company next week.